Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's photo shoot, I was photo shooting with Muriel, and today was my first time photo shooting with the Sony A7III, so I was so looking forward to this photo shoot today. And I want to say a huge thank you also to Muriel for letting me use her Sony A7III, because without her this wouldn't be possible at all. So I want to say a big thank you to her again. And in this photo shoot, I want to let you know my first impressions on the Sony A7III. And I wanted to talk about what I liked and what I disliked about this camera. And basically the first thing I noticed with the Sony A7III was that the autofocus is just insane. Like when I got like this lens with the camera in my hand and I was using the 85mm 1.8, I noticed like the autofocus was just, something different than with the Sony A6000. And another thing I noticed while shooting was that because I was using the Sony A6000 before, I hadn't had a big problem switching to the Sony A7III because the settings were kind of the same. I mean, when I was like shooting with the A7III, I had to like take around 10 or 15 minutes to really get into like the menu. And after like half an hour, it just felt like I've used this camera for a decade. So this is why I liked also the Sony A7III a lot, because it was very easy to photo shoot with this camera. But there was one thing I disliked about the Sony A7III, and that was that it was a bit heavier than the Sony A6000. And I mean, that doesn't have to be a bad thing, but when I was like shooting with just one hand and I have no other choice because I'm also recording my photo shoot behind the scenes with my other hand, after like 2 hours of shooting, my right hand became very heavy. And I mean, when you, for example, shoot with the 85mm 1.8, after like 2.5 hours, you definitely notice that your arm basically falls off. So if you also shoot behind the scenes like I do with like one other hand, you definitely notice that the camera is a bit heavy. And with the Sony A6000, this is something I like a bit more, that I can shoot 3-4 hours with the Sony A6000 with one hand. I can switch the settings with one hand, and it works. Like it's so easy with the same Sony A6000 to switch settings. So this is something I like a bit more about the Sony A6000. But still with the Sony A7III, I mean, if you only shoot like portrait photography, and if you don't like do photo shoot behind the scenes like I do, and when you shoot with two hands, you have no problem at all. Even if you shoot with one hand, you have no problem. But after a while, you definitely notice a big difference if you only shoot with one hand. So yeah, this is my first impression on the Sony A7III. And you probably ask yourself, is it worth to get? And I have to say, I definitely need to shoot with it more often, but so far I can say my first impression was very good. I liked most the autofocus and the 10 photos per second. You can basically shoot in burst mode also, 10 photos per second with this camera. This is something I like a lot. And if you, for example, into video, or if you, for example, are shooting in the rain, the Sony A7III also has weather sealing and 4K and an audio jack. So you have like the possibility to also do a bit more professional work. But so far, I'm pretty happy with my Sony A6000. I will definitely upgrade if I have the budget and if the money is there. But so far with my Sony A6000, I'm pretty happy. I can shoot 24 megapixels. I have like 11 photos per second. My autofocus on the Sony A6000 is good. It's not the best, but with 179 autofocus points, I can definitely do photos and have sharp photos. So this is something I like about the A6000, and that's why so far I'm sticking with it. But if I have a bit more money, I would definitely go for the Sony A7III, and I still cannot wait to go for it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, of course, this photo shoot behind the scenes, guys. And again, huge thank you to Muriel for being the model and also for letting me use her camera. And there will be more content also coming with the Sony A7III and Muriel in the future. So I'm pumped to photo shoot with her again. And I want to say a huge thank you also to you guys for watching. Take care of yourself and see you next time. Bye.